Hello, my audience. As I agreed before, yes, the wonderful guest of this series. And the last session of this series is for a very special guest, Shweta Shankar. So she is the founder of SO Business Hub. Let's see what it is and how she is spreading love, joy, and peace to the whole world around her. So welcome, Shweta, to our series.
Oh, thank you so much, Bismi. I'm really, really pleased to be here today.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, Shweta. And I know that you are a really busy person, and then I'm so honored to have you as our special guest to finish this great series for 31 days. And can you please introduce yourself? What you're doing? What are your, the special areas that you're helping the community around?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, to explain about myself is probably going to be taking hours and hours, but what I can definitely say is there's been a lot of resilience and a lot of transformation. And I think the main thing has been the desire to make a big positive impact.
Mm-hmm.
And you can probably do that by picturing something like picture leaving behind a respected career as a dentist, defying my parents' expectations and really stepping into the
Yeah.
unknown. Because I think deep down, I always knew that I needed to heal,
Mm.
and my own battles with sexual abuse, with depression ignited like a desire to understand human behavior and really
Mm.
help those who are suffering. So arriving in a new country and there was nothing. The only two things that I remember was hope,
Mm-hmm.
determination, and I had to fund my studies and work three jobs and volunteer at different organizations. And I connected with children when I was teaching here. So there's VCALs, VCs, we
Mm-hmm.
did programs with them, and I was working with women in prison. So I was talking to
Mm-hmm.
them about confidence, about how you can really work towards building self-esteem. So
Mm.
I was doing all of these things, and they were really fulfilling moments.
Mm.
You know, when you feel like it's still something's missing.
Okay.
And there was this lack of leadership, of initiative, and I knew that I was meant to do more. So I definitely feel like it's not where you start, but
Mm-hmm.
how you really grow, and that's defined success for me.
Mm.
That's why now we are able to assist leaders and people in business to really do business in a way where they're satisfying that need of having a balance when it comes to life, when it comes to leadership, when it comes to business.
Mm.
Able to provide that through coaching, through leadership, through business coaching, through looking at different avenues of business, but leadership tops it all.
Mm. Yeah, okay. So your tagline is your partner in progress. I love that. That means you are journeying with them. So whatever the business that you are in, but you are there to partner with them. So can you share a bit more about your business hub and how you help these people who are running business?
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, Bismi, your partner in progress, it's so important to
Mm.
have someone. I mean, business can be so lonely, especially
Mm.
for those who are doing it alone. So when you have a partner, someone to support you, guide you through the journey, understand things, but also looking at it with the time perspective of taking timely decisions,
Mm.
but also decision making in itself is a big thing. So should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Where should I invest money in? What should I do for marketing? How do we do sales?
Mhm.
What CRM system should I be using? So it's like so many things. And then on top of that, you come home and then you got to make decisions for family. And so there's a lot of different aspects and element to it. And that's why I really love learning, and something that we always say, ongoing avid learning, so important. And
Mhm.
when you look at all these beautiful people who've made a really a large impact in life, and they take decision making so seriously, like I'm pretty sure you might know this as well, but when you look at Mark Zuckerberg and how he says,
Mhm.
I just wear the same t-shirt every day because that's one less decision to make. And I'm wow, like those people think, that way.
Mm.
And so for me, even those tiny things, the decision of, okay, I'm going to a networking event early in the morning, And the previous day, I'll just keep myself organized and ready. So I know exactly what I'm wearing in the morning. I don't have to make those decisions.
Mm.
I just finished breastfeeding my 1-year-old to step out of the house. So yeah, it's definitely those teeny tiny things that we assist our clients with. How do you make the best decisions in your business so that
Yeah.
it impacts your life and all the people, your team, and everyone around you?
So you just to, reframing what my understanding is like wherever your business is that a startup or is it like in progress, or if you are success, you come as a partner and then you make customized programs for the business according to your need. That's right, isn't it?
We work with solopreneurs on a grow program. We work with people who have teams on a SOAR program. We help with leadership in initiatives. So really looking at that, working with councils and all other bigger teams that we can support through it. But
Yeah.
also a wider kind of range of services that we also provide, because over the last 9 years, the one problem that keeps surfacing time and time and time again is we are working alone or solo or small teams. We don't have the time to talk to 100 different people, because every time you refer someone, they're like, it's an additional person that I need to create trust and bond and relationship with. So to mitigate that, we have a whole suite of services that we provide in addition to business and leadership coaching. So we do provide them with IT services. There's other things that we do in terms of website development, social media, and it's the same problem that continues. So we wanted to be a solution stop for our clients, which has been a great journey. Lots of learnings, lots of failure and failing forward, failing very fast. And yes, I'm so proud that we were able to be here now.
But I know that, from that learning, you are also like, doing different things that is really valuable to your customers and to yourself. That's the power of it, isn't it? Because if you are managing your learning in a better way, you are improving day by day. And I believe that 1% improvement in a daily basis will make you a transformed person ASAP. So I believe in that. So Shweta, I just want to check with you about, you mentioned roughly about your dentistry. So that means you have done your dentistry as part of your, like in all the generational trauma will be there. Your parents got a dream about you, and then you need to leave that dream and then, give that time for them and then come and do your own dream. So can you share a little bit about your dentistry life? So you passed it or you practiced it?
Yes, I did practice dentistry, and something that I keep saying time and time again is I was a very probably great dentist and a very shitty business person, and that's what got me on the journey to how do you manage your business when it comes to everything. Like, you get so stuck up in this thread in the web of doing, and you're like, oh, I'm so great at doing what I do. And then you realize that, oh, so I constantly was a technician doing the stuff. I was not doing all the other things as to what a business owner needs to look at the other facets, and you kind of don't think about it. And I currently, what we are getting with our clients as well is they're working their jobs, they're doing it really well, exceeding and going beyond the expectations, and they think, oh, I should just be doing this as part of they don't realize is for instance, one of them, like if you're a baker, you're very good at baking, but you're probably not great at other things that's your sales and how to manage clients better, how to have your feedback loop systems, how to onboard teams and all of that. So those are the different things that I clearly missed out when I was a dentist and being a dentist.
Yes.
But I got into it because in India, there's a saying, right? You're only three things that you take up in life. You're either a lawyer, a doctor, or an
Doctor
engineer.
or
And if you're not that, then there's no other thing. And it's so funny. It's so surprising. Like we received the Stevie Awards in New York last year. And my mom, as a proud Indian, super excited, told the whole world about it. And then she comes back to me and she's like, what is it that you do exactly? What does a business coach do? I'm like, oh, mom, I don't think she's ever going to realize.
understand that one. Yeah, I think that generation, it's always they do have those type of profession in their mind, and then they were like carving their life to get their kids into that mode. And I think, I think generations like us also thinking that going into that type of career is safe, and that's good even in Australia. But I think that's where the importance of your business coaching coming up, and then people like you changing that mindset actually. Because if you have ownership of your own life with on your own dream, that's where you becoming better and better. So I clearly believe that the business hub that you're running is helping many people to find out their passion, and then helping into into growing into the next step. So you mentioned about your award. So tell us more about that and how that happened.
So with Stevie Awards, that is for social change and impact.
Yes.
And we received that award last year in New York. It was massive. I actually had to send my sister over because I had a really little baby at the time.
Okay.
It was really cool that she could collect it. So social impact is we are involved in different projects. One of them is through the Women's Federation for World Peace and Global Women's Peace Network. And we have been doing that for the last 3 years now, really looking into leadership for young women. What does it mean, and how we can impact them in a way that they understand self-awareness and come from that space. So not only be great leaders at work, but also how could they lead from home? What is the relationship that they can share with their family, with their partners, with kids, and whole aspect of a holistic view of looking at leadership, which I think is pretty phenomenal when we are coaching women who probably don't even have the avenue to understand what leadership could be. It's a two-way concept. Obviously, as we are mentoring them, there's so much that we're learning about ourselves and our concept of leadership as well. I love being challenged while we're doing this. So it's been a great journey. But currently, we are also looking at a lot of advocacy around Clare's Law and around domestic violence, which I think is pretty massive issue. A lot to do with the community, but also just women in general. So that's what we are.
That's what I was going to touch base. It's like, your International Women Global Association is connected with the UN as well, and then doing many things in your area. And I think, this year you got leadership, and next it's coming up more on the family area, right? You're working towards family and then giving all the awareness and workshops. Do you want to share a bit more about what that space is actually doing in the family violence area, please?
So the purpose of it is we obviously want to propagate peace and a culture of peace. However, when you look into the core of peace, that comes when you're living a life which is very fulfilled and a lot of happiness to be involved. Now, when you look at happiness, there's so many different elements to happiness, right?
Yeah.
Looking at how can we build on a community where you can look at happiness from a very young age, because 0 to 8 are the formative years. And if a child understands that this is what happiness is to be, it's a great avenue growing up to then, place your boundaries when it comes to your relationships with anyone, like a friend, a partner, a colleague, a boss, and moving forward, all of that. So the foundation of this movement that we are creating, not only for family, not only for domestic violence or the Clare's Law that I'm talking, it's about how can we really, really amplify that on a level which impacts every mother, because you know that it takes a village to raise a child. However, if the mother is being taught, then the whole village is being taught.
Yeah, exactly. That's the right concept. And I think that's what we need here, because we are actually going into a nuclear family side, like more into that inclusive family, not going outside that family circle. But I think you are initiating that culture of becoming a village, and then make sure that you all share the same values and look after your kids to in a mindset of like a next generation, and then cultivating those values into that next generation. So I think, if the group of women like you and then grouping together and working together, that means there is a movement happening. That's a
Yeah.
good sign for our generation
Oh,
because we need that. So
all of your viewers, like whoever's watching, we definitely need more hands. So anyone who's looking to be part of a movement where, domestic violence forms the core and advocate for Clare's Law, the more hands, the better.
Okay. So my audience, like that's the news that we're going to share with you more and more about the things happening about family violence awareness. And this one is also this program for this 31 days is to share that women is working hard in many different hats to get their family better, get their community better, and at the same time reduce or eliminate that violence in the family and in the community. So I'm so glad that you are sharing that we need more people and then we are in the right path. So one more thing about your professional side, your SO is more of like location of that hub. Where is that and how we can connect with that business hub?
We are based off in Bentley East. However, we do offer and go to clients when we
Mhm.
go for coaching purposes.
Yeah.
So connecting with me, well, I am out and about on all the social media channel you can think of. I do a
Yes.
lot of dancing on TikTok. I'm there on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. There's email. Happy to share my number. So
Yeah.
the
So
more,
okay,
the
that's
better it is.
yes, you're open for connection. So that's what the great thing. That's the reason why we are, taking your discussion here because this website need more and more people like you, and then we would love to partner with the programs that you are raising. So coming back to my other side of motherhood. So you mentioned that you got very little baby when you got your award last year. So I know that maybe now it's 1 year or 2 year old little baby you have. And could you share with us what is your view of motherhood and how you look after your motherhood side?
Motherhood for me has been a journey which is filled with profound joy, lots of challenges, but
Mhm.
absolutely incredible growth. The
Mm.
sleepless nights, endless patience, and really that overwhelming love that
Mhm.
fills your heart is just unbelievable. Like I remember people telling me that, you're gonna be awake at 3 a.m. feeding your baby, and it's just different. Like it's yes, there are times where I'm absolutely exhausted after the whole day of networking, connecting, meeting clients, doing work. But then at the end of the day, it's like I created this wonderful little thing. Like it's just I cannot even express it. It's that beautiful feeling. So I have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old boy, and
Mhm.
it's very demanding role and that I have taken
Yeah.
on. Probably the most
Mm.
demanding role that I've taken on, balancing the needs of the boys with my professional responsibilities are very overwhelming at times. And there are
Mm.
days when exhaustion sets in, but the love that I have for them, that's the only thing that keeps me going. And it
Mm.
taught me to be patient, to be
Mm.
very present. And as I watched them grow, I realized that every sacrifice, every sleepless night, and every challenge has been so worth it. There's
Mm.
this lady called Donna Ball, and I remember listening to her where she said that motherhood is a choice that you make every day.
Mm.
Someone else's happiness and well-being ahead of your own. And I
Mm.
so totally understand that now that I'm a mother. And before that, it was really challenging to even think about what that could mean. So
Yeah.
it's been a brilliant journey. And I feel like being a mom of two boys, I just feel like it's inevitable for me to now pass on that thing of how you can have an amazing journey as a human being.
Mm.
And how earlier, because I was I was born and raised with a sister, so we were both girls, and there was a lot of taboo when it came to growing up. Oh, don't do this because you're a girl, or don't do that. That's what we heard from other people.
Mm.
And now when I look at my boys, and I'm like, wow, you should do this stuff so that you learn faster, fail faster, and then you'll understand, because it's a learning. Every moment is a learning moment.
It is, yeah. So
which is
that's great that you are raising two boys into two gentlemen. That's really cool for a family as well. So I think
great.
it's a hard, I would say the very serious responsibility as a mom of boys, because I got three boys and I
Oh
feel
wow.
like we're raising another family. So I need to be very cautious and very to commit into that responsibility, because if we are failing in raising them in the right way, that means we are making three families, which is having trouble or complexities and things like that. So we are on same boat on that journey anyway. So I
Oh,
would love to check with you, Shweta. Yes, I would say you're a new mom because it's still under 5-year-old category, and then you will have lots of overwhelming experience and at the same time the joyful moment. So do you have any specific moment you are still connected to, close to your heart, about motherhood? Maybe the first time you saw the babies, or
I think some of the most cherished moments have
mm,
always been, simple everyday interactions that I have with them.
mhm.
So, like the joy of hearing that first word when, my son said mama, and
Uh-huh.
the laughter that fills the house. Oh my God, we have such a ball. Like when one giggles, we are all giggling. And because I have a very strong support system, I've got my
Mm,
in-laws in here. So when one's laughing, like everybody's laughing and everyone's eyes light up when you see that. And I
mm,
feel like it's so important to have a strong support system. And that's
yeah.
why I made it a thing to have at least one set of parents here, so
Mm,
that they know how to, have that relationship with their grandparents as well.
yeah.
Also, when my boy said, I love you for the first time, it was such a overwhelming like emotion for us, because I'm like,
Mm,
I think it's the things that you haven't done growing up when you try to inculcate that and teach them new things.
mm,
You value it,
yeah.
then those moments become massive, like, reading during bedtime stories and spontaneous hugs, which makes everything so worthwhile. So beautiful moments are because of you, they're not just with you.
Yeah, okay. I think that's the same sort of theme that I heard from all the mothers. It's like it's not the big milestone. It's more of like a daily hugs or daily, like things, and maybe the little things that they're doing with great love. So I
um,
think every mother is.
should definitely tell you something that I learned recently, Bismi, is that an average human being requires at least 8 hugs a
Eight.
day. And I was just like, this is phenomenal. You should keep hugging me. And I was telling this to my 4-year-old, and he's like, he just looks at me and he's like, do you need a hug, mama? And I'm like, yeah, I think I need a hug. So it's
Yeah, my boys always look for 8 hugs or more than that, because we always say that, without a hug, that day is incomplete. So, and I got my 18 years, so he will say, hug to you. But he's still like, so far he's, yeah, happily giving the hug just before bed. I think, it's a real good medicine, especially for me, like, going through all the tough times, seeing them and showing that love, it's a real energy to refill the cup. Yeah. So I think everyone, if you are hearing us, 8 hug per day is minimum, and then if you do that, the changes happening in their mental health and your mental health is highly noticeable. So that's why everyone asking to do that as a regular action in their life. So Sweta, I need to come back to you to check. I know that you are doing lots of um, uh, I would say education to yourself to be the better self of you. So we want to find out, how do you find out the time and energy and the peace to pick up all this together, even though you're still that mom's role active, your business role active, and then helping everyone through coaching. So what's your secret?
I think uh, it is a constant juggle, and there's a lot of exhaustion involved and guilt. But I always remind myself that it's not about perfection. It never is.
Hmm.
About progression. So the goal for me is to be present,
Mm-hmm.
And the only way I'm able to be present is when I have clear boundaries. So
Mhm.
I ensure that when I am with my children, there's full attention, because I know that there could be times where I'm on my phone or I'm on some laptop or on the gadget. So
Mm.
really setting aside everything, specific times, something that we do with our client as well. We always say 2 lots of 10 minutes is essential every single day with
Mhm.
every single kid. So that
Yeah.
is your says 20 minutes that you carve out of your day, and that
Yeah, that's a good way. Yeah.
that's what I do with my 1-year-old. And then it's like afternoons or nights with my 4-year-old.
Right.
So really looking at that,
Yeah.
setting aside specific times with the task. You should see my calendar. Oh my God, it's chock-a-block. It's always colored and a pink color for family and kids time. And I know when I'm doing what. So
Oh,
without my calendar, I'd go mad. So I
that's
cannot without
That's
it.
really a good idea and a good advice. So, my listeners, I think you should start this calendar. 10 minutes of slots per person, and morning and afternoons, and that's a must one. And then I like that color coding the family calendar. So that's I always like put items in the calendar, but I never think about the color code. So the
Oh,
family is the priority, and then you need to give that color code into that. So that's a good way of prioritizing your time, isn't it? So 10 minutes to pick them up, like, in the morning and afternoon, it's a big challenge because we give them food, we give them everything, but dedicating that 10 minutes it's a challenging activity as a mother.
it
That's
was
it.
very challenging to start with, but I think like anything else, habit, when you want to create something amazing, then you just focus your time and
Mm.
yeah. And then they realize it and then they're like, you didn't spend time with me today. And I'm like, okay, now is the time. 10 minutes, let's go.
They should ask us, like, okay, so that if the pattern is there, they will understand, okay, this is my time, and then you should be with me. So,
But you're also teaching them that that's your boundary as well. Like you set your energy, your intention with anyone else. And when you're doing it, undivided attention. So it works both ways.
yeah, okay. So that's a great way that I should personally pick that up, color coding the calendar. Yeah, well done. Shweta, just want to check with you. You mentioned about all the things that you're doing with KS Law and your organization, but you personally, yeah, what's your thoughts on family violence awareness? And then we know that the whole government, the whole area is actually looking forward to make this as a priority for our families because day by day the issues are really growing and people are speaking up. But do you feel like we need more awareness should happen here and identify the need for the boundaries?
Family violence is a deeply troubling issue,
Mm.
and that affects the lives of so many people. And there's a lot of silence that I've noticed and a lot of stigma. And I believe it's very, very, very essential to raise awareness because it helps break the cycle of abuse
Yeah.
and recognizing, the signs and then speaking out. We can really support victims and prevent further harm
Mm.
because awareness really empowers people to go to seek help and have a society where violence is not tolerated.
Mm.
Like every human being deserves to live without fear. So raising awareness, we really give a voice to the people who probably are voiceless, and you're giving hope to someone who feels absolutely hopeless. And I feel like that's super important because we remember having clients that we had to literally I'm coaching them on their business and I
Mm.
have to call the police at like obnoxious hours because of all the crap that's happening behind closed doors.
Mm.
So it's really coming out there, having conversations with people, and it doesn't matter who it is. If it's your coach, then it's your coach. If it is other people who you go and you talk to, it's sharing with them how you're feeling because you might be at risk. You might be in danger. And we want to see everyone safe and alive. So if
Mm.
you're not alive, then I don't understand what's the point. What's the point of me being a coach if I cannot even help a client who's suffering from violence? Like, I
Oh,
don't get it. Like, I'm not even human. Like, what's the point?
Okay, I think, so you are taking the responsibility of first-hand respondent wherever you feel like it, and then
Yeah.
you identify this, you respond to that. Yeah, that's the right way of going with this one. And, I'm so glad that people are there and then understanding the real issue and then, working towards to the positivity in this area. So thank you, Shweta. My last question to my audience in my radio show, the theme of my radio show is spreading love, joy, and peace. And what's your message to the listeners out there? How do we keep love, joy, and peace? And what can we do in that space?
Spreading love, joy, and peace should all start from here, from within.
Mm.
And at home, I tend to create an environment where there's a lot of conversations or open communication. We have a lot of mutual respect and unconditional love. And the way that we do it, it's so important for you to understand your values and who you are. And it's as simple as, having those discussions. And some people say, oh, you need to go through so much. How do you teach young kids values? And we have 5 words
Mhm.
as values on my son's wall. He's got a
Mhm.
nice big blue wall. He's
Yeah.
got 5 values, which are 5 words with pictures on them, animals which depict that for him. And
Mm.
it's amazing because all that I do in the morning is when I ask him, so which value you going to be living by today? And he looks at the pictures and he's going to be like, today I'm going to be living with the value of being strong. I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, you're going to be a strong person today. Amazing. And what is the other value? Like, I'm going to be filled with love. I'm like, great. So that's our conversation this morning. But then
Mm.
it's you teach them that you live by that. So then you pull them out on that. And I think that's really important. So they
Mm.
learn their value, they're able to live the value, and then they feel happy because that's what they did.
Mm.
They made a promise and they keep the promise. So I feel like that's a very, very great way in order to, have
Mm.
that mutual respect for each other. But also in my business, I always prioritize having that um, positive, inclusive culture where everyone feels valued and supported. So really recognizing and celebrating, which is so undervalued. It's unbelievable. Like how many of the people that I speak to and I ask the questions around celebration, I rarely get anyone who celebrates the wins because they don't feel anything is a win. Like because I've been through like difficult health conditions.
Mm.
So I even breathing,
Mm.
living, and being able to talk to you today, for instance, is a big celebration.
It is, yeah.
You're alive. Like, hello, there are people out there who are on, I don't know, life support and struggling to even have a conversation. So celebrating everything is so good. And it's amazing to just talk about it. So literally the ripple effects that we can create by being love, as my son says, through joy and peace can
Mm.
just propagate that everywhere else.
Wow, I love that 5 value morning conversation. Like, putting on it on the wall and then asking them which value that you're picking up, and then you're giving a choice to take a decision on their own life. That's impressive, Sweta. Yeah, that's also for me personally, it's a good one. Even though we have a value list in our kitchen bench, it's not like I don't really ask every day, but the way that you asking your son which one you need to choose and then having conversation is really a good one.
And
That
then even pulling him out, are you living by love right now with what you did? And he's like, no, okay. So he knows that it's not correct. So it's great. You pull them out on those values.
Okay, that's great. So, mothers or parents, whoever hearing, this is the way that we need to do. We need to stick with some values and then make sure that every day you are connecting with that value. So, thank you, Shweta. I know that you had a great Mother's Day, and I always say to every guest, including you, Mother's Day is not a day, it's a journey that the whole life long, and then you experience that power and joy of that. So, pray and then wish you all the very best for your motherhood. And at the same time, let your values be, showered upon all the partners that you're working in SO Business Hub. And I will be sharing your social media handles under this description for this video. So again, Shweta, thank you so much for having your time with us in this series and sharing your wonderful journey with us.
Thank you so much, Bismi, and I wish you all of the best. Keep shining and keep living, and never forget how extraordinary you are.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, my listeners, my last show of this series, I'm so thrilled to announce that the free tickets are available for our upcoming concert, Stephen Davis's concert in July 21st. And lots of gifts are coming up as well. So what you need to do, go through the videos and then show your love. That's it. And if you want 10% off, there is a free code that you can use for that concert. So I'm so happy for all the audience for this series. And please listen to our radio shows that's happening on today. Yes, Friday, 4 p.m. And then I'll be airing these videos online. So share with us your love with your comments and your thoughts to us. So thank you everyone for this wonderful series and being part of this series. Shweta, again, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.